take some time to show you what I'm now flying. And this is based on about a year of experimentation with different products and different configurations. I pretty much call this my final one true build. Starting on the outside, this is an Armattan Badger frame, and this is kind of the best that Armattan has to offer for me personally. When I started flying, I was using roosters, and I enjoyed the fact that the rooster had changeable arms because I break a lot of stuff, and that meant that it was easier to change things over when you're in the field. However, the camera angle, the lowest camera angle you can have on those frames is about 25 degrees. So when they brought out the Marmot with the front cage, that was a really cool thing because now you could run it at close to 0 degrees tilt, which is kind of where I prefer to fly. But the Marmot was a solid base plate, and I broke 2 or 3 of those, I think. I think I broke 3 Marmots. And obviously you can warranty them, but it meant that I had to wait a long time between warranties. So when they brought out the Badger, which had all of the pros of the Marmot's front cage, but it also had the removable arms of the Rooster, this felt like the sort of pinnacle of Armattan frames for me. Moving on to the feet, we have these custom 3D soft mounts, and then sitting on top of those, the T-Motor F60 Pro 3 2500 kV motors, and the Azure Johnny FPV props. I've tried a lot of motors over the last year, hype trains, Rebel motors, like the Mr. Steel Silk motors, iFlight Zings, you name it, loads of different sizes, loads of different KVs. And I settled on this 2500 kV F60 because it felt like a really good match with the Azure Johnny props. Anything that was sort of 2400 kV, with these props particularly, felt a little bit underpowered, but I really liked how smooth they were. So went with the extra couple of 100 kV, so we're talking 2500, and it's not too crazy that it doesn't destroy your batteries. Speaking of which, the batteries I use are all 1550 milliamp Tattu R-Line V3s. These give you a pretty decent milliamp per gram, and the power is pretty much off the charts. Moving inside, I switched to KISS about 10 months ago, so it's no surprise that the flight controller is a KISS V2, and that is paired with a Wolf V3 PDB OSD. The Wolf V3 is pretty much brand new at the time of recording this, but I was using the V2s before, and the main difference is the size. So the old V2s used to hang out very slightly on the Badger frame, and the V3s are perfect. Now they sit inside there nice and snugly. Now they're sitting on a custom 3D printed isolator on the inside, and this is to protect it from the carbon. That sits under the PDB like this. Quick point on durability, those two boards are obviously on the stack held with a full steel M3 bolt. So it's kind of customary to use nylon bolts in the standoff, and I found that when using those, a lot of the time in very heavy crashes, sometimes they would all shear and the flight controller would come loose. So I just use a full 16mm M3 bolt and haven't had that problem since. Now you'll notice that I'm still using individual ESCs, and I know it's 2020 and everybody's using 4-in-1s, but I still am a little bit funny about having all of that stuff inside at one point, whereas if anything catches fire then you lose everything. And I've seen it happen. I know they're supposed to be more durable now, but I have seen it happen more than once, and that's enough to like maybe give it a few more months until I switch to 4-in-1s. So the RX is a Crossfire Nano, no surprise there, everybody uses those, but the way it's mounted is inside this custom 3D printed block at the back, which also has the VTX that sits on top. So there's a little channel carved inside that the RX sits in, and then the VTX is double-sided taped to the top. So they all sit quite snugly in one sort of contained unit at the back of the quad. The VTX I'm using is the Unify Pro V3 HB, and only that particular Unify specifically. And the reason is because it has the little screw down UFL connector on the back. And this means that your antenna is never going to come out, and not under any circumstance. So I did start using these Rash FPV tank VTXs, and that's because they're like a little 20x20 board, so they mounted really nicely in the back. And you didn't need any custom 3D prints then. But they use this MMCX connector, which after you've had a couple of heavy crashes, these can become quite loose. And it got to the point where pretty much any bump was knocking this antenna pigtail out. And if that happens in a bando or something, you are going to lose all video when you crash, and then you've got to go and get it. You're not getting back. As for the antenna, I've settled on the True RC matchstick. Now this is kind of like a heavy duty version of their Singularity. The actual antenna is the same as the Singularity, but the matchstick has this sort of Kevlar reinforced pigtail here, which is awesome. I have to be honest, I have yet to break one, and I use the singularities on the goggles, so they are great antennas all around. So the camera is a Runcam Swift 2 Mini Johnny FPV edition. Interestingly, I started out on CCDs and then I kind of switched to CMOS, and I've been using those for most of the year. And then I decided I'd give CCD another go, and I realized I kind of had missed it. I thought that the image quality was really good. Plus the way that the sensor like fully updates simultaneously instead of over time like with the CMOS means that there's never going to be any rolling shutter, and it feels like a much sort of faster refresh rate. It feels more responsive. It could all be placebo, I know. It's a very subjective thing, the camera. I definitely gain confidence with the CCD, and that's kind of what it's all about. So if you kind of moved away from them, maybe go back, maybe have another go, maybe try them out again. So last few finishing touches, I have the rotor-right quad skids on the bottom for those skidding on landings and those contact tricks. These are really cool. I do have these ESC protectors, these TPU protectors on every arm, and that really does add a non-trivial amount of weight, I won't lie, but I've broken so few ESCs since started using those. Obviously ESCs on the arm, very prone to prop strikes, but with these, I just hardly ever break them, to be honest. I have two builds that are exactly the same, only one in this case has a Hero 7 mount on, and if I do use the Hero 7s, then I tend to up prop to the Ethics S5s, because the Johnny props, they kind of start to sag quite a lot when you add that extra weight of the Hero 7. That's the build in detail. As for tuning, I will plug it in and show you my KISS GUI, but it's basically default when it comes to PIDs, and the rates I will show you now. So here we are. The PIDs are slightly higher than default, not by much to be honest. The main thing is you have to whack up the D a little bit, just to get it a little bit smoother. That smooths things out. Rates, right, here we are, 857 on roll and pitch, and 594 on yaw. You can see it's a fairly standard curve. The actual rate profile is right here, so there you go. If you wanted to know my rates, there they are. Right, so that's it. That is the One True build, the Sync 2019 One True build, and probably the last analog build I'm probably going to do, because that DJI stuff is looking pretty enticing. And now that there's a Badger DJI conversion kit and KISS supports DJI, there's really only one thing left to do, which is to buy the damn thing. So yeah, that might be happening sometime next year. Anyway, let's have a look at what this thing can do. So here's some clips, some highlights from the previous few weeks. Join me after those, where we'll be doing some more giveaway stuff. All right, roll the thing. I hope you enjoyed that montage of clips there. If you follow me on Instagram, which you should do, by the way, if you don't already, in the description. Yeah, we'll put a link to my Instagram in the description. You might recognize some of those clips from before, but there was some new stuff in there as well. Anyway, it's giveaway time. Last week we gave away a flight controller. This week we're giving away a TBS Unify Nano. If you're new here, this is what we do. We give away a prize every single video. And it's Christmas soon, so maybe we'll actually give away more than one prize. More details about that in an upcoming video. Anyway, let's find out who's going to win the TBS Nano right now. And the winner is... I'm not saying that. 13ADG 3R Urbex. Okay, that's a name. Anyway, congratulations to you, buddy. You've won the TBS Unify Nano and the propellers. All you have to do is drop me an email. The information is in the description below. So once you've done that, we'll take it from there and we'll get the prizes shipped out to you. Big ups to Armattan shop for handling the delivery on all my giveaways. And as for giveaways, we obviously have to do another one. So let's pick a prize from the prize box to find out what we're gonna win in the next video. If you're new, we always give away propellers. So this week it is the Prop Cyclone 5145 Pros. These are in a nice red color and there are 3 bags of those. So that's the first part of the prize. Yeah, where is it? So we're gonna give away a soldering iron and a soldering iron stand. So you can have a little soldering iron station and get that ready for you. So yeah, so if you want to win a soldering iron stand, and the 3 bags of propellers, all you have to do is leave a comment in this video with a $sign in it. And that will enter you into the draw. We'll pick the winner in the next video. So the last thing to do is just read the comments that were on the last video. The last video was a quest for the 1-pack, which is where I try and fly a really good 1-pack. And so far I have failed. So let's see what people said about that. Skyseeker says, amazing how you're able to make even such a flight entertaining. And by such a flight, he means a flight where I fail and crash a lot. Hypix UK says, the end to the video on the tower is awesome, man. Nicely edited. Thanks, dude. I think he's talking about my outro bit, which is done at RAF Upward, which is this amazing bando in the UK. You'll see that in a minute when this thing wraps up. Mr. Gauss says, that was a killer pack. Crashes also bring an element of intrigue to the flight, so count it as a trick. All right, I like that approach. I like that idea. The crash is a trick. Brilliant. You're a genius, Mr. Gauss, and I'm gonna use that from now on. RPG Woodworking, still a noob here, but finally got my first build flying. Thanks for the great vids. And welcome to the hobby. You're not gonna regret this, I promise you. Your bank account might regret it, but you are not going to. It is the best. Truex FPV says, nice, I like the concept of reading some comments. I'm really glad you do. I thought it would be a nice touch at the end of the videos. I'm glad it's appreciated. Corey Pankeet says, thanks as always, Sync, for the entertainment. Keep the live streams coming as well. Nabi FPV, fuck, that's hard to say. Nabi FPV says, the best trick was the upside down slide on the concrete. Oh, for God's sake. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. John Doe says, trick tutorial would be sweet. Good idea, John. I like it. I did a Learn With Me video in the past that was quite popular about matty flips. So yeah, some kind of trick tutorial content. It's on the list, mate. Rusty Signal FPV says, 3 is going to be the pack. I like your optimism, Rusty Signal, but I think it's going to be a slow climb rather than an immediate awesome pack. Okay, thanks very much for joining me in this video. If you were entertained, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. If you do enter the competition, advisable to press that bell because to find out if you have won, you will need to watch the next video. Okay, thanks for watching everyone. Bye bye.